And we are back upstairs here at Lighting the Fuse, the preview show for Fresno Urban Sound Experience. I'm sitting down and talking with Timmy, who is the DJ behind Cockamamie Jamie. Tell me a little bit how long you've been doing that, and what's it like? What's it like to have to perform with Jamie?
Well, I've been DJing for about 5 years. And I love it to death. And Jamie's an old friend of mine since we were teenagers. And like at 17, we both got into hip hop. Well, we got into hip hop when we were kids, but we started rapping together when we were 16, 17 years old. So that was about 50 years ago. And I started DJing for him actually really recently, this summer on this record. When he was recording this record and he released it, he approached me. He's like, "Man, will you do shows with me? Just rock shows with me, do my music, scratch it up, and just be there to rock it with him." I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." You know, I love him. He's like my oldest friend.
And what? So you've known him for a while. What's it like to have to? And I don't want to say deal with it, but you know, he's definitely puts on a performance, and sometimes you maybe know what he's doing, and sometimes you don't. What's the?
It's shocking. It's shocking. I mean, some of the stuff I know in advance. You know, we plan it out. We know we're gonna shock the crowd. But other times he does things that surprise the hell out of me. Like the first time we performed at Fulton 55 when he split his head open with the phone and the blood went flying. I didn't know that was gonna happen. He had the prop phone. He just beat his head a couple times. Blood goes flying by. And I'm like, holy crap! I was really, I was surprised. So I take some medication for that. I'm joking. I don't take medication.
And then tell me a little bit about your own musical experience and how long. I mean, you know, you've been DJing about 5 years, but I mean, before that, were you into music, and what do you do sort of aside from being with Jamie?
Grew up loving music. Grew up playing jazz trumpet. I love Miles Davis. I love jazz. My whole family is musical. My parents were Southern gospel singers back in the 70s. My brother's a musician. And I just kind of fell ass backwards into DJing 5 years ago and just fell in love with it. I realized I could rock crowds. I realized I did something that was different than a lot of other DJs. And I was building a fan base, and so I loved it. And aside from DJing, I'm a single father. I have 2 amazing sons, junior hires.
I saw you hanging out with them the other day down on the Fulton Mall.
Oh yeah, the Fulton, yeah. And so
for a catacomb party.
Yeah, and that was a lot of
Awesome.
fun.
Well, and then tell me, is there a band or a musician that you're super excited about right now? A local band that you see and think, okay, this is what Fresno is all about?
Man, obviously Cockamamie Jamie. I think he's doing things different than a lot of other artists. Sahab is really great.
Oh, yeah.
Strange Vine. I'm friends
Always,
with those guys.
always,
Those guys rock. That Passion Bucket, I've seen them perform like twice.
Oh, yeah.
They're really amazing. Yeah.
It seems like Fresno has this unique ability to bring bands that are doing stuff that's just like out of the ordinary. You know, you look at a band like Passion Bucket, which is essentially just like some sort of rogue marching band that performs just on the street corners whenever, you know. And Fresno has a lot of those type of bands where it's like, where did this come from, you know?
You know, because I'm not from California, I'm from Canadian originally, I've noticed here in the Valley that there's just a huge eclectic flavor of people. Like the huge Latino influence and the African American community. It's like Kirk Franklin, I heard him say once that Fresno is like Skittles. We're all in here. I think all that affects all of our musical tastes and the way we develop and grow. We're really, I don't know, like Cajun spicy,
right?
Something like that.
Totally. And what? And we sort of already answered this, but what do you feel is the Fresno sound? If you had to define.
Oh man, to define the Fresno sound? It's a tough one. Eclectic.
Yeah.
Unique. Very West Coast.
Yeah. All right. That makes sense. Well, and then. Is there anyone, have you looked at the lineup for this year's F.U.S.E? Is there anyone that you're looking forward to getting out and seeing?
Collecto.
All right.
Dude, I want to see you. I'm excited. I love Collecto.
The robot known as
Collecto. He's going to be one of the best acts this year.
Awesome. And see, now I'm waiting. Blake Jones is on stage, and I'm very interested to see what he's doing. But is there anything else that you want to share with the audience in terms of what you're doing, or you know, you have plugs? You want to plug anything?
Yo, you guys can go on to SoundCloud, Timmy Blue. You can hear some of my remixes there. They're free. You can find me on Facebook, DJ Timmy Blue, on the Instagram. I'm going to be playing the F.U.S.E Fest. I'm going to be playing with Patrick Contreras at his record release, November 15th.
Awesome. That should be really, really great.
And you know, just the latest updates, you can find it all on Facebook, Instagram, and all that stuff.
So
yeah.
tell me this, DJ, real musician?
Yes. It's complicated to explain, but I always look at all the samples as just like a pluck on a guitar. You have to dig through 1,000 megabytes to find that one thing to build it and put it all together for the world to hear. I don't think a lot of people understand that.
I was doing an interview with a couple of these EDM guys that came through, actually, to Fulton 55 a while ago, and the way that they were talking about creating these tracks, you know, really struck me, because I hadn't ever thought about that before. You know, I think a lot of people hear DJs and they're like, oh yeah, they just play other people's music, and because they're thinking party DJ or whatever.
It's not push and play, people. It's not at all.
So I'm not gonna make it work with my iPod and plugging it into the PA, anything like that.
Yeah, that's not DJing at all. There's multiple forms of DJing, and it's a art form if you really take a look at it. And there's different ways of doing it, building it. You have the EDM DJs, like you were talking about. You have the party rockers, who just play other people's music, and then there you have the people who scratch it up.
And what if you define like your style, or what it is that you're trying to do? Where do you fall within that?
I think I would fall like an amalgamation of the three. I love to rock parties, and I'll play someone else's music, but I'm going to remix it live on the spot.
All right.
And add beats, and as well as I make my own original music as well. So I kind of a mixture of all of it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me go ahead and tell everyone again where they can find out information about the F.U.S.E Fest, and that's going to be at FUSEFest.com. And in the meantime, it looks like Blake Jones is going to be up and ready to play, so we're going to kick it downstairs. Hopefully they'll be there to tell you a little bit about what's going on down there.